Plato's theory of education. Okay. So why he gave importance to education?
Because education ultimately comes कि वो knowledge gain करेगा सामने.
Okay. For knowledge?
Yes.
Knowledge about what?
Knowledge about social and political order.
आवाज आ रही है मेरी स्वर उसमें?
Social and political order in society.
Okay.
Ethical values सीख सके.
So, not just the philosopher king, but all the classes, they must be knowing what is pure idea of justice. And as per their virtues, they must work under that, particular sphere which has been provided to them. So those who are producing class, that are artisans, they just produce. Okay? And those who are soldier class, they just keep the security dimension into their mind and they just perform this function only. Fine? So ultimately the objective is functional specialization. Okay? You both have a PSIR? Huh? Yes. Okay, please sit down. So we are dealing with the Greek political thought. Fine? Do you have any basic idea of political science?
I don't have any idea.
You don't have idea? You said that you have gone through test series and all.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just give a brief introduction, like in 5 to 10 minutes, so that you can get the background. Fine? And then we can proceed with the class. So we are dealing Plato right now. I'll just give within 10 minutes the base of Greek political thought or Greek philosophy per se. Fine? In the times of Socrates. Okay? So there were one debate, we have already discussed this thing, debate between Socrates and Sophists. So the chief debate, the chief objective was how to achieve happiness. Okay? This is our, like if we apply this at our own level, this is the chief idea. How we should aspire to get happiness in our lives. Fine? It was in the Greek society as well. That how to achieve happiness. So these two schools of thought, they had their own interpretation of happiness. How to achieve that. What is happiness? That is also different. What is and how to get that. Both the school had their different notion of happiness. Okay, just focus on the discussion. You'll get the notes. Fine? Just focus on the discussion. So what Socrates perceived to be happiness and what Sophists perceive to be happiness. Totally different idea, and how to achieve that happiness, that medium is also different. Fine? So we'll explore this debate and then we'll link with the Plato. Fine? You know that Plato is the disciple of Socrates. Fine? So see, now Sophists were the roving teachers. Roving means those persons who go place to place and they teach. Fine? So they used to charge hefty fees from those wealthy young men who want to aspire to do something good in their life. Something like they want to achieve wealth, fame, and status, power. Those young men who want to achieve those things, they were being taught by Sophists. Fine? So they were Sophists were teachers. Fine? And Socrates were a philosopher. The meaning of philosopher is the person who loves knowledge. Understood? So Socrates' idea of happiness was, the entire Greek political thought were concerned that happiness can be achieved by virtue. Okay? And what does virtue means? Excellence. That you are doing excellent in your life. You are excelling in something. You are becoming good at something. Fine? So what is that chief idea? What is this virtue? So both the school had different notions about what is excellence. Fine. For Socrates, it was moral excellence. Okay? Moral excellence. It was related to knowledge. He had this idea that there are certain ethical truths. Can you see this thing? There are certain ethical truths which can be known, which can be understood, which can be applied at individual levels, and then they get excellence, and then they achieve happiness. It was Socrates' idea of virtue, excellence. Okay, is it making sense to you? Sophists, they believed in power. Okay? Once you have power, the political power, you can achieve anything in your life. The wealth, status.
Only political power or social power?
Political power, if you influence political, if you wield the political power, you obviously have that status in the society. Okay?
I think the Sophists, first of all, they are religious group, na? They will develop.
Not religious. Let me tell you something. There were a wider debate going on that was nature versus convention. Okay? Nature versus convention. Fine. This was a wider debate. And the essence of this debate was that there were certain laws, like what we call natural law, natural justice. Fine. So these were some kind of ordain of God, like something inherent in the human being. Fine. Something divine. Okay. Even these ethical truths, they are something divine, which can be perceived. And it was given by some higher law or something higher spiritual in nature. So this particular school of thought belonged to Socrates. Fine. And the convention is related to what is man-made. Okay, man-made, conventional. And Sophists were belonging to this conventional school of thought. So they were not religious kind of teachers and all. Their chief idea was that suppose you want to achieve something in your life, you must have control over power. Okay? And we will teach you rhetoric, not knowledge. We will teach you rhetoric, how to influence people, how to get good at speaking, so that you can influence the people, you can influence their emotions, and you can come to the power. Are you getting this thing? So this was their chief motto, that how to influence common people. And once you influence common people, you get the power, you can do whatever you want to do. Because they were not believing that there are certain kind of natural truths or natural law or natural justice. No. Everything is man-made. And since everything is man-made, you can do whatever you want to do. If there are certain laws, you can manipulate those laws for your own self-interest. Okay. So their idea was that you focus on self-interest. Okay, Sophists were concerned about this thing. Once you have power, utilize it for your own self-interest. Okay, because there is nothing called ethical. They did not believe in this thing, the idea of God and nothing. Okay, they were believing in this thing that man can do whatever they want to do. They can manipulate law, they can manipulate social customs for what?
For harmonies and maintaining the environment.
No, for themselves, for the person itself. Fine. See, I am saying that they were popular among young men. You are showing them a dream. Fine. They were like modern coaching classes, that we will make you IAS in first attempt itself. So people are getting attracted. Oh, seriously, they are claiming that we will make you IAS. It's a promising job within first attempts. Let's go to them. Fine. They were offering the same kind of things, that we will make you powerful. We will teach you those kind of skills, those speaking skills, those rhetoric, art of reasoning, art of questioning, so that you can influence people. Because ultimately you are going to wield that power on people. Fine. And there is nothing ethical. You can mold those law and convention as per your own self-interest. Is it making sense? Okay?
It means Sophists are more realists.
Yes, you can say that.
Just
Okay.
Morgan theory and influence.
Because see, you are giving, you are identifying this thing that human is, self-interested human being. Fine. You are giving importance to the egoism. The same was adopted by Hobbes. Okay. And the same theory of international IR, same. Hans Morgan says the same thing. Okay. Fine. Is it going good? So now, Socrates. He was concerned about knowledge. That there is thing called moral excellence. Okay. And if you have that knowledge, you will work not for yourself, but for common good. Okay. For society. Societal interest. Fine. Since you are having knowledge, you know what is real idea. You are going to pursue common good only. You will not think about yourself. Because again, there are higher ethical truths which you should be knowing. Okay? So this was the thing. And see, they both believed in social order. But they attacked that this social order can be manipulated to achieve individual self-interest. But Socrates believed in social order that it is natural, because human beings are, natural beings. Fine? So whatever their order they are creating, that is natural. Okay? But when they make any laws, those laws are not natural. Now understand the debate. When they make the law, and when that law itself questions the very dignity of human being, fine. For example, they made some certain kind of law which can be, harmful for the individuals, larger common good. Fine. So what is happening here? You are bringing unhappiness in the society. Because he is concerned about common good and they are concerned about self-interest. So now he is attacking the very laws made by these politicians, those who enjoy power. Now this is very crucial discussion going to happen. This will create our base. Fine. That why Plato was so concerned about knowledge and what we are going to discuss right now. Fine. So he gave prime importance to knowledge and they gave to power. And who is enjoying power in the society? Not Sophists.
Elite class who gain knowledge.
Very good. Those who are having, control of the political class, they are enjoying the real power. Fine. Now what happens? They are the person who can make laws. And these people are saying that you can manipulate laws for your own interest. Now they are making such laws which is harming the social good and they are promoting their own self-interest. Fine. For example, there are wealthy people who are connected with the, just apply it in the contemporary times. There are wealthy people who are giving finance to this political class. Okay, that you make certain laws which is going to benefit us. Fine. For it about the common good. Yes. So for example, this is an area, tribal area. You give all the leases related to mining and other these things. We will exploit this thing and we will give you share to you. Fine. Is that clear? So ultimately you are harming the common social good. Now understand this thing. He questions that these laws can be harmful and he is totally questioning this thing. And this is irritating the political class. Fine. Although Sophists is also criticizing and saying that these laws can be manipulated. But ultimately they are going to benefit whom? Political class. So they are not saying anything to Sophists. But they questioned the very arguments of Socrates, and Socrates was being prosecuted and he was being killed by political class. Understood this thing, this discussion? So now he gave chief importance to knowledge, but he was being killed. And this made Plato hateful towards political class. Why?
Because of unethical
Because
laws.
Because he was the disciple of Socrates.
That is why he started hating.
मतलब
Give me something concrete reason.
if you go
Because
back to the background of Plato,
Uh,
in the geographical background, I think there was some
so because of he was more
tyranny and
concerned.
anarchist systems like that because of elite class and something else. So that
we had a very good basic discussion.
So because of he was more concerned about excellence, ethical excellence.
Who?
Plato, because he was a disciple of Socrates. He was against unethical laws made by the elite class in Greek society.
So why he is hating the contemporary state of affairs?
sir, because of the state
Because
of affairs was
outcome of laws made by elite class was
You are very close to this thing. See, this is what you have to learn. Just hitting the bullseye. Fine. He is hating the political class because it's a simple answer. Because they do not have knowledge. Isn't it? They are ruining the entire governance. Fine. They are working for themselves, self-interest. And that made them to kill Socrates. They did not understand it, the power and that importance of knowledge.
so was Sophist in support of elite class who were making laws that
Definitely, they were paying them, they were giving money to them, and they were telling them that you can utilize these social custom and laws for your own benefit.
was he a philosopher?
Who?
Sophist?
They were claiming, they can claim that we are philosopher, we have knowledge. Fine. Even if I claim, see, what is the argument of Socrates? That ignorance is the first step of knowledge. The moment you say that I have knowledge, you are ignorant. Because no one can have the knowledge.
Whom we will consider philosopher or idealist, like anyone who gave ideas about
See, philosophy, the real meaning of philosophy is love for knowledge. The person who has real love for knowledge, the person is philosopher.
what type of knowledge?
Huh?
What type of knowledge?
What?
what type of knowledge?
The type of knowledge in this context is like something which give you pure idea of ethical truths. Fine.
Liberal society, they promote capitalism. Minority class get discriminated. So sir, the idea is not for welfare of all. Was the many liberal philosopher could claim themselves as philosopher or not?
No, see, I understand what are you trying to say. You are saying who is political philosopher, okay, and you are saying the person who claim to be liberal philosopher, political philosopher, whatever they are claiming, and if it is harming one segment of the society, can they be called philosopher? You are saying this thing. Fine. It is very subjective interpretation. Okay. If a person is giving an idea about knowledge, you cannot make happy every single segment of the society. Understand this thing. When we are going to learn about Plato, he is completely missing slaves. He doesn't say a single thing about slaves. Fine. And he is one of the finest philosopher of the world.
Because he was idealist philosopher.
No, but he is just eliminating one particular segment out of his philosophy, na? And
He considered slave as equals.
no, he did not say anything. They were just excluded in his entire discussion of theory of communism, theory of education. Nowhere there is discussion about slaves. He didn't even consider them as a human being. He did not. Let me tell you something. Forget about slave. He did not give sympathy to those persons who were ill or who were physically challenged. Even those children who born mentally challenged or who couldn't do well, he even suggested that they should not be given medicines. They do not have the right to life. So we are not here to judge who is philosopher, who is not philosopher. Okay, we are talking about Aristotle or Plato. 5,000 years ago, these people are saying these kind of idea which are still relevant and revolutionary, isn't it? So this is something. Who here in this entire world can claim that I have the supreme, idea of knowledge? It is, something impossible. Okay, you have supreme idea of knowledge. You tell us. Then this entire journey of finding knowledge is, is ending here only, isn't it? We will go to the dialectics. We will go to this idea of Hegel, negation of negation. We will study this thing. That the moment you bring one kind of opinion, one kind of idea, that can be contested with another idea. Okay, thesis, antithesis, then comes the synthesis. Fine. So there are competing truths, and when they compete, one truth comes, and this truth should be competed against, another truth or another idea. And that is also essence of J.S. Mill. He's saying the same thing, that he's giving that everyone should have right to speech and freedom of expression, so that we can discuss and find out things. Okay, is it making sense? Yes. So now Plato is concerned about this thing, that the person who is having knowledge must be ruling. Okay, and the person will rule for common good. The person will not be ruling for self-interest. Fine? Okay, so we are discussing this thing. Now, how we are going to come to this conclusion that person is knowing and this person is capable of ruling. Okay, so he said that either the person should be philosopher king, or the king should be made to learn philosophy. Okay, if already there is one person, king, we can go and we can teach the person the philosophy, and he rule as per the philosophy or the real knowledge. Fine, and he did himself. He went to Sicily, Italy, twice on the invitation of his friend. He tried to teach 2 rulers, but he was about to get killed. The moment you tell the truth to a person, for example, now we are going to study his theory of education and his theory of communism. Okay, in his theory of communism, he says that ruling class should not have a right to have family and property. Okay, because these things promote nepotism, hierarchy or corruption, whatever you say. Fine, so they should not have these things. If you tell this thing to a ruler that you should not promote family, you should not have wife, should not have kids, how he will think about that person? The first ruler he went to teach, he sold Plato as a slave. And after a few years, when the person died, his son became the ruler. He is also being invited again, somehow. And that person was so enthusiastic, yes, I want to learn the philosophy, I want to rule my kingdom as per your philosophical rules. But again, after initial enthusiasm, when he just, came towards the real knowledge, he again became suspicious about his intentions. And he made him to, confined in one house, like house arrest. Again, he escaped from that situation. So see, this was the thing. Then he come to the conclusion, okay, I am writing this particular my book, or I am opening that academy. He opened one institution where people can learn the philosophy and they can go and teach the philosophy, and those who want to become philosopher, they can rule. This is some kind of utopian idea he envisaged. Okay. So now, how to make person philosopher? This is our chief concern. Yesterday we discussed about philosopher king and attributes and characteristics of philosopher king. Today we are going to discuss there is process that how a person. He says that, like, before discussing, we must know what is theory of justice, because this doesn't make any sense. Do you have any fair idea of what is theory of justice? Hmm? No.
There is a distinctive justice and
No, he did not say those things.
Plato's theory of justice.
Huh.
Keep it as per their creed.
Yeah, you are very good. So there are, he says that the chief objective of Plato theory of justice is providing social harmony and order.
One thing you have just now said, Plato has escaped from prisons.
Plato has
Escaped from prisons.
Prison.
Prison.
not prison. He was made a house arrest, like kind of like this.
But Socrates did not choose this option to escape or something.
Yes,
Why this?
very good question. See, Plato, Socrates had choice. He can escape. Okay. He can escape, and after escaping, he just defies the dictate of state. Fine. Who gave punishment to Socrates? State, na? Isn't it? Fine. And what is state? State is an ethical institution. Fine. He says that it is natural institution, nature, natural law, natural justice. So I was being nurtured by state. State is like guardian to me. So whatever state is saying, I accept it. It is dictate of state. I am accepting it. Fine. But what I am defying the law. Law means by state. So it was kind of civil disobedient. That I follow the kind of punishment you are giving to me, I am following this. But what is more important for me is my conscience. He made this statement. My inner law is more important than this law, which is conventional, because it's man-made, na? Law is man-made. Fine. If this law is not adhering to the natural law, I am not going to accept this thing. So what is important for me is my conscience, my inner ethical knowledge. I don't accept this thing, but I am not running also. If I run, I defy the state and I prove this point. They will say, oh, see, this is the politics which is superior. You defied your own ethical values. You ran away. Isn't it? So he said that I am not running away. I am accepting this thing. I am accepting the dictate of state. I know the real knowledge. And I am sacrificing my life to prove that philosophy is far superior than politics. That was the reason he did not run away. But everyone is not Socrates. Okay. He was the master of Plato. Fine. Plato could have sacrificed his life as well. He did not write a single book. But Plato wrote books, dialogues on the basis of Socrates. In every single Plato dialogues, it is Socrates who is speaking. So his knowledge came through Plato. Had Plato been died, we wouldn't have, get exposed to such kind of wonderful ideas. So now you understood why he did not escape from the prison. He wanted to make a point. How Bhagat Singh made a point, sacrificing his own life. So he also made a point. Okay? So this was the reason. So now, he gave supreme importance to knowledge. And this was being understood by Plato. That if you want to maintain common good and harmony, there should be some, those rulers, they should be having the real knowledge. Then only we can establish that order. Fine. And for that, they must understand what is justice. Is it making sense to you? Are you following? Okay. So, what is justice? We have already gone through the entire discussion. I am just telling you briefly. So, there are three classes in the society. One is artisan class. That is, producer class. The second is soldier class. And third is ruling class. Okay, these both are collectively called guardian class. So he says that there are certain virtues being assigned to these different classes, and if they follow those virtues, there will be peace and harmony in this society, and justice will manifest at state level. Okay, so if we say state here, the highest idea of justice will manifest here, the virtue of justice, and they are also assigned certain virtues. Artisans, they must be having temperance. Okay, what is temperance? Self-restraint. And this was the prime virtue. This virtue should be, prevailing in each these classes. Temperance should be with soldiers also, with ruling class also. Self-restraint means you are restraining yourself that I am not going into the domains of other persons. Fine. I don't want to become ruling class. I don't want to become, fine. These will be having economic functions, generating wealth, and all those functions are being assigned to producing class. And these peoples, they will keep security in their hands. And they will rule, they will make policies, they will implement policies. These are ruling class. So they will not interfere in the policy. They will not interfere in security, and vice versa. Fine. So chief virtue is temperance, self-restraint. You restrain yourself. That I'm not encroaching upon your domain. It is prevalent in each this. For soldier, temperance plus courage. Okay. And ruling class will have courage plus wisdom. Okay. Huh? That is the quality of souls when we'll go through theory of souls. So these particular classes, there are also being attached certain virtues, certain like qualities of soul to them. Fine. So this process of education is trying to find out which particular class is having those qualities, those capacities, those capabilities, and they will assign these duties to them. Fine. This will be find out by process of education. Okay. Yesterday we were discussing about the same thing, that process, that how different level of education. For example, if you want to become civil servant, IAS, there is prelims, mains, interview, then you become IAS. Fine. Then you go to Masuri, Labasna, then there is training and all those things. Then you become DC, then again some practical experience, then you become secretary. Fine. So this is entire process. So similarly, becoming philosophy ruler, there is entire process. You have to go step by step. Fine. So there will be certain people who will fail in these 2-3 steps only, like only clearing prelims or maybe not clearing prelims. So you become producing class. Fine. Something like this. Okay. Well, I'm just giving you one example. If you want to have the power to utilize that power for your, to propagating this common good, you should go through a adherence process. Fine. This is the chief idea of, yes. So Plato says that this educational process is to find various virtues in human being, okay, and assigning those tasks to them. Fine. This is how what we are going to learn now. So now, do you know about there was power struggle going between Sparta and Athens? Huh? Do you have?
Platonic theory of knowledge.
Yes, this is one of the reason. Very good. Because what happened after that war, there were chaos in the society, in the both society, Spartan as well as in Athens. So he belonged to the Athens. So he noted something in Spartan education system. So his education system is, the mixture of both Athens and Sparta. Fine. He identified certain weaknesses in Athens education system. What was this system? That education was being financed by family itself. Private education. If you are having money with you, if you are having wealth with you, then only you can have access to the good education. And who are the educators? Sophists. Fine. They will teach you when you pay them good.
Just like now. In the entire world.
Understood? So it was not cheap, it was what we call open for elite class. Fine. And civic education was totally being neglected, which was prominent feature of Spartan system. What is civic education?
Civic education is I think political education. Right to liberty, society.
Civic education means giving preference to the our own political system, patriotism, having sense of active citizenry. We are doing certain things for the our state. Fine. So, for example, you are being taught how to fight war, okay, how to be brave. So when the nation demands you, you can go there. Fine. It was being taught to men, both of them, in Sparta. So he took this inspiration from Sparta. And in Athens, obviously, intellectual education was given preference. So he took both of these things. And then he envisaged the theory of education by merging both these dimensions. Fine. Because he wanted to make his theory of education foolproof. Why? Because people will understand what are their virtues and they will identify those virtues. Okay. One day I discussed, there is one novel, The Giver. The name of that novel is The Giver. Okay. And what is the theme of this novel? There is entire state system. What Plato taught us, they are applying it. Okay, it's a wonderful novel. I read this novel. So they are identifying. There are young children, what they are doing, what kind of activities they are doing in the class. They are finding it. And there is one person who is philosopher king who is identifying that this kind of persons, they are suitable for this kind of task. Okay. So same happens here. We are identifying that's what kind of virtues you do have, and we are going to assign you those tasks. So this education system has three components. First is elementary education. Second is higher, or we can say middle education, and the higher or highest, you can call it. Fine. Or there are two, this higher has two components. So this elementary education was to start from 6 years to 20 years. Okay. And this 21 to 30 years. And this one, 31 to 35. And after that, final one, that is practical knowledge, what we call, that start from 35 to 50. Okay? Huh? Because you get to expose to every single challenges in the society, na? After learning all those things, you will be assigned to the society. You go there, you see what kind of challenges people are facing. You learn those things. This is not a superficial knowledge which can be taught to you in some kind of institution. No. You go out, you see kind of Bharat Darshan, you go and experience what are different cultures there, what are different social customs, how people are living. Fine. It was like this. Okay. So, in first stage, what they will teach you? They will teach you music in elementary. Music. What happened? It was wow. And gymnastic. So with music and gymnastic, they want to make sure that these young minds, they have, balance of mind and body. Fine. Gymnastic, how they do gymnastic, they jump. Have you seen any gymnastic? It is related to how you compose your body. When you jump, have you seen pole vault? They run with that and then they jump. And those sports person, they jump with holding two ropes. Those are gymnastic. So how you control your body, because you have to control your inner appetite. Okay. And music will refine your reason. It will initiate your reason, your intuition. That is important. It will enhance your capacity to learn. Fine. Okay. So this was the part of the basic elementary education. They will get this education till the age of 18.
This education was along with training. This education was along with training also. Training like elementary education.
This is entire process, bache. Okay. This is entire process where you will, even their diet was being like, you have to follow a proper diet. There won't be any kind of sweets given to you. You have to eat only roasted meat. There won't be any, meat masala, all the things, okay? There won't be any such things. You need to lead a very balanced life. So every single thing was there. You even what kind of music you're supposed to listen, what kind of poem you're supposed to read, that is also being assigned properly. You cannot get exposed to some kind of, adult content. Okay? Because you have to control your mind and body. Every single thing is being controlled by the state. The entire curriculum. Fine. So after 18 years, for 2 years, you will get into compulsory military training. For 2 years. For everyone. Male, female, both. Fine. This was the revolutionary idea given by Plato that time. It wasn't applied, but that's the idea. Fine. In Athens, in Spartan, they were already doing that. Okay, we are saying now that civic education, it was prominent feature of Spartan. Yes. Okay. So, in 2 years, they will get exposed to the military training, warfare, and they just want to test your courage. That who are those people who are courageous enough to do those kind of tasks. And why it is important? Why courage is important?
That's important for being a soldier.
being a soldier. Fine. If you are not having courage, they will identify who is courageous or not. So definitely, yes, you are not eligible to become soldier. So there will be test. There will be test after these 20 years, and they will assess what you have done in those 20 years. So those who are having quality of courage and temperance, they will get into the second stage. Fine. And those who fail, they will go to producing class. Fine. Is that clear now? Okay. So now they come to this middle education. There they will be taught mathematics, arithmetic. Okay. And astronomy. These kind of subjects will be taught to them. And what is the essence of these kind of subjects? Because they want to develop pure reason and plus those qualities, for example, mathematical or arithmetic qualities, which will help you to make proper decision. He gave one example. If you know proper mathematics, you can arrange soldiers in a proper, there are some lining, they make a proper regiment of the soldiers. They do that. So if you know the knowledge of mathematics and arithmetics, you can do this thing. It's a simple example. Fine.
For example, linear mathematics have come to the picture during Second World War.
And for example, astronomy or some kind of knowledge of physical sciences. And
Climate change during battle.
if we apply this in modern science, see those pilots, they have this knowledge of mathematics, astronomy, or we can say geometry. So they see where to land the plane and from where to take off. They see every single thing. This is the airflow is this thing there. What kind of weather is this? So they do all the calculation, and then they take right decision, isn't it? In similar fashion, he is teaching them these subjects. Okay, is it making sense? After the age of 30, there will be one test. Those who qualify, they will enter this stage, and those who couldn't qualify, they will become soldier only. Fine. After that, they will be taught logic and dialectics and all the philosophical subjects. They will be taught in this final stage. Fine. And within this only, they will also be sent to the general public by assigning some junior roles of ruling class to them. They will give you, for example, those IAS, they go in the districts becoming SDM and isn't it? So they will be also given some kind of junior roles of ruling class. They will go and they'll perform those kind of tasks. Fine. Are you getting this thing? So get a practical experience. You learned all those things. Now you have this. And after that, there will be one exam. Okay. And this exam will define that who is going to go to the next level. Fine. Huh?
In this stage, who fail,
those who couldn't qualify for that, they will be given these lower jobs only in ruling class. Fine. For example, there can be some accountant, someone who is measuring the land and all those things. They are also part of administration, but they are not part of administration which need to take the higher decisions. Okay. Now after entering in this sphere, they will get exposed to different kind of practical challenges what society is facing. You see that, you do the contemplation, you link those problems with the higher societal truths, and then you achieve the knowledge. This is how this process is.
so can there be more than two philosophy?
Yes, there can be.
Who will rule them?
The person who says that I don't want to rule, Okay, you know this thing. Plato made this statement. This practical issue came to the Plato also. That what if there are more than one ruler? Then he says that the person who says I don't want to become ruler, that person will be ruler. Okay. See, there are so many practical challenges. This is there. If you see, this is a pure ideal things. There are so many things.
So what will the criteria to decide age?
Decide what?
Age. 6 to 20, 21 to 20. Age decide this criteria.
See, there are no strict regimentation about this thing, but you are capable of learning at this particular age only. You are capable of learning this thing only. Fine. We cannot expose you to these kind of difficult subjects at that age. Okay, that is why.
These are subject to implementation.
These
are subject to implementation.
Subject to implementation means
like the ruler of the region, whatever way they want to assign the age.
I'm not getting you. What?
The theory of education wasn't implemented at that time. So, if any ruler want to implement, they can implement accordingly. Like they can change age also. Like 6 to
It is their discretion. But he proposed this thing, na. For example, we make a model law, and then we give to the public for deliberation. You give some kind of amendments, you'll amend it. Fine. But he gave his own arguments that how you're supposed to follow this thing. Fine.
age can be subjective in nature.
Huh?
Age can be subjective in nature.
This is not some kind of UPSC that after you cannot qualify after this age. Okay. He just made he's supposed to give certain kind of criteria, so he made that. He's not like I told you, na, this could have been the logic. I cannot get into the Plato mind that, and I nowadays I'm reading this. Not Giver, I read that Plato book, The Republic. Okay, and it is in form of dialogues. So that discussion happen among certain people. They are sitting and they are doing dialogues, and whatever is being said, it is in the form of dialogues only. So those things, why, how this will happen, he says this, and that we are finding these things from that dialogues, and the dialogues is not the concrete conclusions. There are certain things which is left open to the interpretation. This is what we are doing, our own interpretation, what he said in those dialogues, what other asked him, and he gave the reply. So this is our assessment. The Gita. So Gita text is same, but the Tikaएं, we see na, Tikaएं, Gita ki Tikaएं. Tikaएं means the different interpretation. The text is one. Like similarly, like Bible and Quran, people have their own way of interpretation, and even they become, different stand also. Someone is interpreting Bible in different way, a new kind of sub-religion. No, there are sub-tenets of religions. So this is happening. So we are not interpreting, this is what is being interpreted, and we are just assessing. And what is required for our own exams, we are concerned about this thing. We are not here to become scholar. We are not here to become, researcher. Fine. Don't jump into too much depth. Fine. It's not required for us. They'll ask simple question, what is theory of education? You write, this was the chief concern of Plato, and these are the chief component of theory of education. And he got inspiration from this, and then how it was being applicable in those times, and conclude the answer. This is what you required. After becoming IAS, you buy books and you study. You do whatever you want to do. This is the truth. Fine. If you get it, this is the whole of literature. If you get into the depth, you are, get lost. When you are going to prepare for your prelims and, mains and essays, GS 3, 4, this is how it happens. Let's write some notes now. Give the heading, theory of education, Plato, theory of education. Right. The ideal state ruled by philosopher king was made possible through an elaborate and rigorous scheme of education. An elaborate and rigorous scheme of education. This ideal state envisaged by Plato, the ideal state envisaged by Plato
Ideal state.
envisaged
Okay.
by Plato constructed around his theory of education. Give a small kind of question based heading. Okay. Like, what is the reason behind this scheme of education? So don't write, just listen to me now. Because as you were saying that he witnessed there were chaos in the society, there were inequality in the society. So he was concerned about this thing. Ultimate goal was that how order can be established, how justice can be established in the society. So every person will understand their own virtues and they will act in that according to that. So there will be proper harmony in the society. Okay. So now write down. If the state performed its tasks of conducting and supervising, if the state performs its task of conducting and supervising education, conducting and supervising education properly, then it would succeed. Okay, write down. Therefore, he proposed state-sponsored education. This education scheme was state-sponsored. Okay.
Therefore, he proposed the
State-sponsored education. State is going to sponsor. You don't have to pay for that. And this education system was for guardian class only, ruling and soldier class. Fine. Write down this point as well. This scheme of education was for guardian class only. In bracket, soldier plus ruling class. For Plato, social education is a means to social justice. It provides a basis. It provides a basis for the ideal state designed to achieve justice. For making people virtuous, virtuous means you are getting excellence in your own domain, whatever you are doing. Okay. For making people virtuous, he made education a powerful instrument or a powerful medium. For making people virtuous. There are different virtues assigned to each classes now. Okay. So for making people virtuous,
You made education
a powerful instrument. Okay. Write down the next point. Education builds a man's character. It is a necessary condition for extracting. It is a necessary condition for extracting man's natural faculties. Man's natural faculties. We will also explore his theory of soul. He is saying that certain qualities are being assigned to each class as per their souls. Okay. So these mental faculties and these attribute of souls are being aligned to that only. Fine. And you can use these in your ethics paper. Fine. When it comes to the socialization, question on socialization, what is the role of teachers and family in the socialization, you can write down this as well. I will teach you this thing, how to use PSIR content in your ethics and essay paper. Fine. You don't have to write those keywords which we write in the political science. Fine. Because we will prepare a certain kind of specific keywords, and whenever you write, I'll make sure that you write those keywords in your answer, PSIR answers. But writing in GS answer, like GS4 or essay, you have to eliminate that theoretical aspect from that. You don't have to make things complex. Even if you are asking question or discussing things, don't try to make it complex. Ask in very simple term, in very layman term, that I don't know anything, this is something I want to ask. Be very clear. Fine. What is the first rule? You accepting that I don't know. Okay. Even it applies to me as well. If I don't know, I'll say, I don't know, I'll try to find out about this thing. Knowing ignorance is the first step towards knowledge. Okay. So don't get confused in this thing and having this idea that maybe I know, because half knowledge is always dangerous. So what did you write? In order to develop his personalities, capabilities, capacities, skills, which are required to perform specific function assigned to him, to a person. Specific functions assigned, because that is the theory of justice is specific functionalization. Na? For Plato, right, next point. For Plato, education is an instrument of moral reform. It would mold and transforms human souls. This comes here, human souls. We'll discuss this in theory of souls. Mold and transforms human souls. SOULS, souls. It inculcates. Yes, it inculcates right values of selfless duty towards all. So that goals of common good can be achieved. Plato even considered the state as an educational institution. Because state is also going to provide a groundwork for highest education, because after the age of 35 you will go into the state, then only you will get the true knowledge. That is why he is giving importance to state as well. Thus the stress on education was derived from, why so much stress on education? What is the chief idea? Okay, the stress on education was derived from the Socratic belief the virtue is knowledge. Write in that, the virtue in college. The virtue is knowledge. What we call inverted comma. Huh? What happened? This, huh? Okay. Plato was impressed by state-controlled education in Sparta. Plato was impressed by state-controlled education in Sparta. The Spartan education system had civic education and training in martial art, what did you write? The Spartan
education
system
had civic education and training in martial art
as some of their crucial components. crucial components. Okay, they give emphasis to the civic education and martial art. The key objective behind inclusion of civic education and martial art. The key objective behind inclusion of civic education and martial art, training in martial art, to prepare the individual from childhood, to the service of the interest of the state, to the service of the interest of the state interest, common good, whatever you write. You have written till where? Service of the
Interest of the state.
of the interest of the state, or state interest, national interest. Fine. Right, next line. Yes, not heading.
Okay.
Next line. Plato observed several deficiencies in Athens' education system. Plato observed certain deficiency in Athens' education system. Right point under this. Education was left to family and private schools. There were no state education in Athens. The education was left to the family and private schools. So if you have money, then only you can get access to the good education. Next point. There was no martial art training. There was no martial art training. And there was also absence of proper civic education. So this is what he learned from Spartan education. As a result means they did not have these components now. As a result, education was of the substandard level. As a result, education was of the substandard level. And it resulted into what did you write?
It resulted into
As a result, education was of this
And-
standard level.
And it resulted into a rule of inefficient and ignorant political class. You understand now? That these people, they did not got proper education, and then they become, see, if you will get your education from Sophists who are giving prime importance to the self-interest and power and sidelining all those, ethical values. They are teaching them there is nothing called ethical values. There is no such kind of, final truth. You just do whatever you want to do. You utilize laws for your own benefit. You play with the social customs for your own benefit, and work for your self-interest. So what will it will result? It will result into injustice and inequality. Okay, people will be dissatisfied with the governance. Fine, and there will be chaos in the society because people are not adhering to their virtues. Those people who are not capable to become rulers, they are ruling. They are do not having knowledge, and this was the chief concern of
Concern of
Plato.
Plato.
Okay, now write make this here, write Athens and Sparta education system. Three to four lines only. We have to write 2 or 3 points like this. So Sparta gave importance to civic training. When you are writing the heading, right, Plato integrated both the system of Athens and Sparta into his system, his scheme of education. His scheme of education, he integrated the component of Athens and Spartan education system. Okay. So the key component was civic training. Here you can write intellectual, intellectual activities, value of creativity, and individual achievement. More focus was given how to, how individual can achieve excellence in their life. Now write in paragraph format. From Athens came the individual aspect. Now listen before writing. Here we are focusing on individual aspect because you have to identify what are your own core skills, aptitude, your capacities, fine, so that you can get the excellence, fine, because we want to ensure justice in society. And if you understand your own capabilities, your own worth, whatever you are being assigned, your own virtues, then only you will be capable to do this thing. So focus was given for individual excellence, fine. What did you write? Individual aspect,
Came the individual.
which Plato hoped, hoped to integrate with the social side that he borrowed from Spartan system. Plato hoped to integrate with the social side that he borrowed from Spartan system, because they were giving more importance to civic education, common good, common idea. So he's integrating both the things. If you write these points in your answer will be wonderful. Fine. So whenever there is question related to theory of education, simply write what is the objective of this. Fine. Objective of this is to establishing peace and harmony in the society, and to finding out different virtues in the human beings and assigning those tasks to them. And then there were certain deficiencies in Athens system. He borrowed some key components from Spartan system and integrated both. Fine. And then you write, if they are asking about the scheme of education, then you write the scheme of education. Otherwise, you don't have to write. This is something you have to learn. If he's asking about theory of education, you don't have to give the elaborate scheme of the entire education system that at this age you have to do this age you have to do this thing. No. This is you have to learn in answer writing skills. You need to identify, pinpoint what exactly is being asked to me. And there are most of the people, they are making this mistake only. They are not able to qualify their mains. They think that we know the answer and they know the answer. But what are they writing? That's not the answer. 4,000 test copy I have evaluated in past 7 years. I am writing all the tests. I wrote 10 tests, I wrote 20 tests. Arey, what are you writing? You know this thing first. You don't have to write what you know. You have to write what is being asked. There is so much of difference in this thing. You don't try to be over smart by writing so many things in the answer. You are making your answer complete garbage if you are doing this thing, and you are irritating the examiner also. At one point of time, he would say, this person he doesn't have the clarity. And the moment you give this idea to examiner, your marks will decrease at least 10 to 20 marks. Definitely. In E is the question, in E is the answers, he will decrease your marks 1 and 2, 1 and 2 like this. So you have to keep one person only in your mind. What is examiner is asking from me? And the demand lies in the question. So when this theory of education, you write what was the objective, the key essence. And if something has been said by some thinkers like Rousseau, he praises this entire, his idea of education. He's even saying that Republic is a treatise on the education. He's saying that also. So you write this kind of component. Then you write what is the chief essence of this thing, few points. If you can link with the contemporary times, for example, how we are promoting right to education so that everyone can get, education, you can write this kind of things. And then you conclude your answer. And if it is asking, give an elaborate scheme of Plato's education, then you can say that these are these 3 different stages, and this is the objective of those stages, like this. Fine. So this is, and if they are asking critical analysis, then you can give the criticism as well. So this is proportion, the ratio of the content you are giving in your answer. Fine. Most important thing, understand this thing. If you learn only this thing today, this is going to change your entire, preparation journey. Write down this thing in your mind. This is, the entire game is about proportion. If the question is being asked, so give 10 to 15% to the introduction. Fine. 65% to 70% should be on the chief main demand. What is being asked? Suppose you are writing 10 marker, there are 2 pages. If you fill the entire page with this phase for introduction, you are doing injustice to your answer. This is you need to understand. You don't think that I'm impressing him writing all those things, what I know, no. भाई मैंने पूछा क्या है? To just ask to you. What did I ask? Why you are writing all those things? Plato ने ये कहा, फिर Socrates ने ये कहा, फिर Aristotle ने ये कहा, उसने ये कहा, इस thinker ने ये कहा. He is not concerned about this thing. Isn't it? Simply tell what is being asked. You tell this thing. And always remember this thing. This is what PSIR students do. They think that when we write some political thinker and their views, our answers will be wonderful. If you are making some kind of food, maybe you are making some curry, you need to put ingredients as per the taste. Fine. It is not that you will put this much of desi ghee and your answer will be your curry will be so delicious. Understood? So what is being required? You put that much only. Understand this thing and apply this thing whenever you are writing this thing. When you read your own answer, you should think that, Oh, is it okay? Is it fine? How much I am putting? What is self-evaluation is the best evaluation, I'm telling you. The moment you understand how I'm writing my questions, your answers will improve significantly. Okay? Write the next. What you have written? Huh.
From Athens came the individual aspect, which Plato hoped to integrate with the social sign that.
Okay. The chief reason behind,
इसी में include करना है.
or maybe next point, but this reason of this statement, I'm telling,
अच्छा, okay.
you can give the heading also, reason of the above statement, or just reason. Now Plato believed that human beings must be inculcated not only with the knowledge, but also civic sense. So they should possess both the things, not only knowledge but civic sense as well. Right? Next line. In Plato's opinion, education is a lifelong process. Education is a lifelong process. Why it is? Because it is not like once you become philosopher king and you are claiming that I know every single thing. Because society is evolving. There are new things are coming. The new challenges are coming. 10 to 20 years ago, there was no any issues related to cyber security, but they are coming. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So when such kind of questions comes, you can link with such kind of things as well. That there takes so much of new development. In the area of knowledge, the capacity building should be, a continuous process. So that we identify what new challenges are coming into society and we learn how to tackle those things. Fine. So what did you write?
In Plato's opinion, education is a lifelong process.
Yes. Because human soul is capable of learning. Human soul is capable of learning as long as it lives. Knowledge, next point. Knowledge was to be acquired. For the sake of perfection and excellence. Now we will write a scheme of education at like elementary education like this.
Heading would be scheme of education.
Scheme of education. And then first is elementary education. 6 to 20 years you can write. Right. The elementary education enabled the individual soul to develop what? The elementary education enabled the individual soul to develop fullness of experience. fullness of experience, comma, both theoretical and practical. Both the experience, theoretical experience as well as practical experience as well. It was developed, it developed the physical body to be healthy and athletic. Because you are training the young students, they should be very athletic. They should be having right body so that they can be capable of grasping what is being offered to them. Next point. It trained the human mind in moral and ethical judgments. It trained the human mind in moral and ethical judgments. Elementary education consisted of two main components. Elementary education consisted of two main components: music and gymnastic. Music and gymnastic, okay? The chief objective of including these aspects means music and this gymnastic. Okay, these aspects to train and blends means mix. Okay, you are training and you are blends the gentle and fierce quality. Gentle and fierce qualities. Gentle means with music you develop the reasoning, you develop the sense of appreciating art. Okay, fierce, you are learning gymnastic, you are developing courage. For example, when you are jumping with pole vault, you are experiencing that courage that you are doing something, you are going beyond your comfort zone. Okay, so you are developing fierce qualities as well as gentle qualities. Fine, you are appreciating art, you are listening to the music, you are writing poetry, you are learning poetry. These are developing aesthetic qualities, gentle qualities in you. Fine. Right, next point. Now, what you have written? Fierce qualities in the individual. Qualities in the individual. And creates a harmonious person. Harmonious person having both the qualities. Now, give heading gymnastic. What role gymnastic plays, and write one point is sufficient for that. Why gymnastic is necessary? Why music is necessary? We don't have to get too much of detail. They are not going to ask such kind of things. Okay, even if they are asked, the content is sufficient for us in the three stages. Even if you write 1 or 2 lines, your answer will be perfect. Fine. Right, for gymnastic, right? It provided poise, P-O-I-S-E, means a kind of controlling and managing. Okay, poise to feeling and tempered spirits. Feeling and tempered spirits. Tempered spirits. Yes, spirits. So we get exposed to certain kind of emotion and a certain kind of internal those dilemmas. So they train us for that as well. If we are bodily healthy, we can train our mind and body is connected. So they are giving importance to both these dimensions. Okay, right? For music. Or in bracket, you could have written that training the body for the sake of mind, because you're training your body. Or you remember this is a very simple point. Okay, you're training the body for the sake of mind, because both are connected. That is why gymnastics is for body and music is for mind. Fine, right? For music.
Yes, sir.
Right? Next point for music. This is the essence of the why we are integrating both the things, gymnastic and music, because both are interconnected. And if you go to like for training in Lavasana also, you will see that they are providing physical activities also. They'll take you for running, jogging and trekking for every single day. Every single day.
2 years.
I think like 1 year, then you come to the
जो IAS के लिए सिलेक्ट होते हैं उनको MA in एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन करना नहीं पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन करना होता है वहाँ जाके
No, I don't think so. They have to do any kind of MA, तो I don't know. हाँ, लेकिन ये है कि 1 साल तक वहाँ पे 1 साल या 9 महीने तक रहते हैं वहाँ पे. Then you go to districts, you do it.
डिपेंड करता है सर किस में आप
हाँ, you do the training and then again you go back. तो ये साल 1.5 साल 2 साल तक चलता है ये. Okay, right? For music. Music tried to soften the spirit. This spirit.
soften the spirit.
By developing power of reason. By developing power of reason. Reasoning power. Power of reason.
म्यूजिक से रीजन
रैशनल भी बोल सकते हैं सर रीजन या रैशनल
A reason. The reason is mental capability. Okay, you understand what is reason. Are you getting this thing?
म्यूजिक से तो सेंसिटिविटी बढ़ता है
Sensitivity also, it is linked with this rational aspect as well. Fine, you appreciate how, suppose this is a painting. Okay, how can I appreciate this thing when I have that capacity, that rationality, that reason in me? Then only I can appreciate now. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to me. And honestly speaking, I don't make sense when I say different kind of paintings. So my reason is not that kind of I don't have that kind of capacity to understand that underlying meaning behind this thing. People spend so much of time looking at one picture and they make sense. They try to understand what the artist is trying to say. Don't you think so? When we go to that art, these museums and art galleries, the people, they spend so much of time to understanding and interpreting that art. I cannot appreciate that. I admitted this thing. So you have that kind of, must be having that kind of reason. It is the higher faculties. So this is the interlinkages. Fine. There are so many things. We don't understand that. Like music, like singing. And for example, classical songs. Someone will not appreciate that classical song. Someone will like Punjabi songs only. Someone will enjoy Bhojpuri. So it's a taste. How we develop that taste. नहीं, मैं तो हरियाणा से हूँ. But so this is how it happens. Okay. So you develop that kind of quality, and it is reason and that bodily like agilities both are required to grow as an individual. That will only make you to get exposed to the further knowledge which is coming to you.
Right.
Okay. Write one more point. I don't want you to write so many points. Just conclude this thing only from here. It was to instill. It was to instill. Instill means to inculcate. Okay, it was to instill values of simplicity, justice, values of simplicity, justice, and still values of principle. Do one thing. What did I tell you? It was to
The values of simplicity, justice.
values of simplicity and justice. Do this thing and conclude this thing. Because I don't want you to write so many complex arguments. Okay, you will unnecessarily get confused. Fine. So I'm just trying to. I read so many books, some standard books, which is not even prescribed for you. I'm trying to make in a very simple manner so that you can understand those things. Fine. So now write
Next heading.
Compulsory military training within this only 18 to 20 years within elementary education this comes 2 years compulsory military training 18 to 20 years.
यहाँ mention करना है.
Because now we are going in elementary education itself now, so you mentioned that compulsory military training it is part of elementary education 18 to 20 years, and this is 2 years compulsory military training. Education in arts would be followed by 2 years of compulsory military training. In this training, luxury and self-indulgence, you are not allowed to enjoy luxury and enjoy whatever you want to enjoy. So luxury and self-indulgence were prohibited. Self-indulgence were prohibited. Self-indulgence. You are indulging in your own pleasure. Okay, those things were prohibited. With the purpose of strengthening the spirit. Objective of this, or you can say the main objective of this compulsory military training, the last line. Main objective that soldier class, that the soldier class needs to be perfected as professional warriors. Okay. Warriors. professional warriors, so that they can secure safety and security of the state, so that they can ensure safety and security of the state.
लिखना है.
हाँ लिख लो. So that they can secure safety and security of the state. And after this, there will be a selection test. Okay, make a box and write that after this, there will be a selection test. And those who qualify, they'll go to the next stage, that is higher education. And then give this heading, higher education. See, this is the beauty of small class. You can interact with the teacher. Okay.
Right.
You don't have any kind of hesitation that what if I ask, what they will think about. And this is very stupid idea we all carry with ourselves. What others will think if I ask. Even I faced when I used to study. And you don't have to consider, you just consider about yourself, that what I know and why I am here. So give the heading, higher education. There will be selection test. Those who qualify this text, they will be, sent for next stage, that is higher education. The higher education was to cultivate. The higher education was to cultivate the spirit of free intellectual inquiry. Free intellectual inquiry. Free intellectual inquiry. This is very powerful thing. Free intellectual inquiry. What is this free intellectual inquiry? Do we have free intellectual inquiry at our higher education level? What is free intellectual inquiry? What is intellectual? What is intellectual capacities? Listen something.
To discuss for the better ideas.
Better I am asking, what is intellectual? Huh? Reason. What else? There is nothing wrong and right. First of all, understand this thing. You should speak your mind. Fine. Intellect. What is intellect? Intellect is something related to your. Yes, rational is also, reason is part of this intellectual. Fine. If the reason is missing, you cannot say that is intellectual. Fine. Reason is the most important component. Fine. When you bring some such kind of debate, that becomes, free intellectual inquiry. There is no foundation. You can speak your mind. And that kind of classroom we don't have in our country. Isn't it? You are not allowed to speak also sometime. To say what you have in your mind.
Oxford University.
Yes, that happens in those institutions. Okay. So free intellectual inquiry should be promoted at the higher education level. At this stage of higher education, the students made to take advanced courses in mathematics, arithmetic, geometry, geometry, astronomy, harmonics, harmonics, harmonics. Harmonics is related to, when you understand the notes of music. Have you seen some kind of musical performance?
उसमें जो notes लिखे रहते हैं,
Yes.
someone plays piano.
हाँ.
हाँ.
So such kind of on sand is there, fine.
वहाँ पे
So so when you understand those kind of thing, it's related to reason also. It's your capacity.
पहले तो गाना हार्मोनिक्स पे बेसिस पे बनता था, लेकिन अभी गाना बनता है देन हार्मोनिक्स डिसाइड।
हाँ. Okay. So it is also related to intellectual activity. Fine. Now write one point for these, like for arithmetic, why it is necessary. Write in next sentence. Arithmetic is necessary. So why these are necessary? Because it is used. Arithmetic used pure intelligence. Pure intelligence. It used pure intelligence in the attainment of pure truth. So 2 plus 2 is 4. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
It's a simple truth. So you are using pure intelligence for the pure truth. Fine. Arithmetic. Right? Geometry. Oh, see, for the practical value, we can write for the practical value, as I discussed, that it can be used in, in a military setting, that how you are arranging the troops. And if you want to write, you can write also. So it has a practical value. For example, soldiers can be arranged in a practical manner, in a proper order. This is one of the example how it can be used, the practical use of this thing. Then write geometry. Geometry. It helped in the choice of positions. It helped in choice of positions and method of tactics. Choice of position and method of tactics. Okay. These are military tactics you're supposed to use. I told you now how you are lending and how you are doing this thing. For example, you are using, okay, this is the height of that tree. If you'll throw this thing from there. So they used those kind of strategies in those, ancient times. It also helped in acquiring the vision of the idea of good. It also helped in
Idea of
vision of the idea of the good. Idea of good. Okay, now write astronomy. Astronomy is observation of heavenly bodies. Astronomy is observation of heavenly bodies. Heavenly bodies. Like sun, moon, all these things. Okay, you learn in astronomy. And harmonics, learning to discriminate notes by ear. Harmonics, learning to discriminate notes by ear. Now write both astronomy and harmonics. Both astronomy and harmonics, both of above, try to elevate elements means uplifting your standard or your level of knowledge. Elevate the mind from sense perceptions, and cultivate the power of reason. Yesterday we discussed that there are perceptions and opinions, okay, and there is true knowledge. We discussed this yesterday. Have you heard about allegory of caves? No. So this is part of this. We will discuss this thing. I already discussed in the last class. Yes. So this is related to most of we have these perceptions and opinions, and acquiring real knowledge, it's a very difficult process. Fine. So Plato talks about allegory of caves. He is trying to explore the idea of forms, the idea of true knowledge on the basis of that example. Yesterday I discussed that example, and we can again discuss this thing. But now let me complete this one. Right at the age of 30, because this is right. This education is from age of 21 to 30.
At the age of 30, you look nice.
Nahi, this higher education is 21 to 30. Okay, fine. Now selection test. Second selection test in box you can write. Second selection test will happen at the age of 30. Those who did not qualify would become soldiers. Okay.
Yes.
And I told you soldiers and ruling class both are guardian class. Understand this thing, okay? So they will form the second tier of guardian class. Now the third stage, that is higher practical education. Right, this thing, higher practical education, because here you are being exposed to practical education as well. Age 31 to 35. At this stage, students would study dialectics. This is art of questioning. You question and you come to the discussion, and then you acquire knowledge. Logic, and philosophy. Okay, right, next line, full stop. They would also receive some practical experience of we can say administration or ruling. Some experience they will get exposed. How they'll get that experience? They would accept junior positions. Accept junior positions in military and political life. They would accept junior position in military and political life till the age of 35. Okay. Now after this stage, or at the age of 36, or from 36 to 50 years, you can write. They would return to worldly life, like social life, worldly life, social life. Okay, they would return to worldly life and grapple with or struggle with, like they'll get exposed. They'll grapple with, or they'll get exposed to.
So, meaning of grapple?
Grapple means it's like you are being exposed to something, some kind of challenges. Fine, like I'm grappling with the right kind of words to tell you. So you are, kind of struggling. You're getting challenged by certain things. So when you get into society, there are different kind of issues in the society. When you are learning something, that's a different thing. But when you go to the ground, the scenario is totally different. Fine. At one particular time, whatever strategy you have made, for example, I have to control what we say, I am SP and I have to control the riot. Okay, this is the standard operating procedure. You go, you try to, talk to the crowd and something like this happen. Fine. So you do not know, there are some crowd, they do not have face. Someone can say something and you don't know how to react. There's no prescribed thing there. Fine. I know one instance in Punjab. There was one police inspector, and he was there. He was trying to control the mob. He was saying something, and someone made some comment to that person. He took out his pistol and he committed suicide there itself. That officer. He shot himself dead. So it was a strange thing. So when you go to the practical life, there are so many other challenges. You how to handle, you'll understand when you get into the society. Isn't it? Okay, so what we study, that's a practical theoretical knowledge. But in the reality, the scenario is totally different. People become so enthusiastic to become civil servant. But when they really go to the services, the scenario is totally different. The honeymoon period is good. You are going to Labasna, you are enjoying, you are posting photos on social media. But when you go to the real administration, that scenario is totally different. The kind of pressure you are getting from the society, from the public, from the politician, from your seniors, your life becomes so, challenged. And if you are a person of integrity, then it's very, very difficult to sustain in that kind of environment. You have to compromise with your inherent values. Every single time someone is, calling you to do this thing and to do that thing, and you are taking those decisions, violating your own inner voice.
Yes.
And that brings the guilty feeling to you. And every single day you are fighting with, these kind of forces. So it looks very easier, fascinating. Oh, they are enjoying their life. No one is there who is like, supremely enjoying their life, except some philosophers. And that's the truth now. Once you understand the, real meaning of the life, you enjoy your life. This is all the debate is all about. He is saying that it is the knowledge, and love for knowledge, you become a philosopher, you are enjoying your life, you enjoy happiness. Sophist is saying, no, it is power, it is the wealth, it is status. That is the entire debate. When we study IR, it is a debate only. That we are, human beings are self-interested, egoistic human beings. And our own personality get reflected when we are making policies for the state, national interest, national security, those become our concern. And then there is liberalism, ideal thought. They are saying, no, we are inherent good human being. We make law, there is international morality and all those things. So these are the competing things, the entire political thought, whether it is international or whether this political thought. So you understand, this is the basic discussion. If this thing is clear, PSIR is very, very, very easy subject. You apply those things daily on the daily basis. That's what I teach. When you read anything, just try to write some kind of analysis every single day. Even it is 5 or 10 lines. Trying whatever you read. Yesterday she wrote that what is happening in the Bangladesh. She tried to link with the whatever she studied day before yesterday. So this is how, when you are reading something and when you are applying. So this brings two benefits to you. First, your conceptual clarity get enhanced. First thing, the concepts, your command of or concepts is improving, and you are daily linking with the current affairs. So what is happening here? Command or concepts. And second, you are having examples to quote. When you are having examples to quote in exam, and not only quoting examples can be very, very dangerous as well sometimes. When you are quoting the example, but it is not aligning with the context of the questions, then it is very problematic. Fine. You will fall flat. You will irritate the examiner quoting the wrong examples. So you understand this thing, where I supposed to, quote the examples in which context, and that's going to improve. Okay? So what was the point?
Return to worldly life and grapple.
Grapple with the problems of life till the age of 50. Now at the age of 50, at the age of 50, there would be final examination. There would be final examination, and those who are successful in the final examination they would become ruler, philosopher king, philosopher ruler, philosopher king. Okay. So this was the theory of education. Should we discuss theory of communism briefly, or you want to wrap up the class? Huh? Getting bored or like? Huh? Is it going good?
Yes.
You are following the class? Let's discuss briefly so that tomorrow we can, we'll go into deeper things. Just briefly we are going to explore. Theory of communism. So first, why theory of communism? Why he is proposing theory of communism? What is the chief objective that Plato is offering this theory of communism?
Avoid nepotism and hierarchy in the system.
Very good. Nepotism and hierarchy. Okay. Concentration of wealth, property. Fine. Why? Why? What is the purpose of doing this thing? What will happen if they'll,
Justice.
justice?
Equality.
How they will ensure justice? This is all about questioning. Now I'll ask you how much you have studied.
Justice will provide a equal platforms, something like that,
Equal platform.
as per their qualities.
So that people can
Equality means anyone can get opportunity.
I'll ask one by one, don't worry. He said equal platform. How many of you agree with this thing? Here justice means equal platform.
so that
Justice
people
will
can work
Okay, now what is your view?
so that people can work as per their natural trait.
As per their virtues, okay? As per their virtues.
They won't divert from them.
Fine. Very good. So they won't divert. They will just, adhere to their virtues. Huh? Fine. Okay. This is the main thing. Fine. Very good. You do have some other points to add? Huh? Now we know that there are three classes. That is soldier class, producing class, and ruling class. Fine. These two classes,
Will not have where they can.
we are just concerned about these two guardian class. Fine. Producing class are free to have property and family. So it is communism of family and property. So these people, the guardian class, they are not allowed to have property and family. As we have discussed, this is going to promote nepotism, hierarchy, or concentration of wealth, or whatever you say. Because persons will be concerned, would be concerned about, promoting own self-interest for his or her son and daughters.
Property and family also creates desire.
Exactly.
So, soldier and ruling class might divert from there.
Very good point. So we want to ensure that that everyone does their work as per assigned virtues. Fine. And if you see, we discuss about their virtues. Temperance is key virtue. It should be embedded in each these classes. If you are going beyond that, if you are having that desire that now I have power, I should enjoy the wealth as well, isn't it? That's what we are doing now. For example, producing class. Producers have wealth. And once you become Ambani, once you become Adani, now you want to enjoy political power as well. Isn't it? And they do enjoy, but indirectly.
Indirectly.
Fine. Now here what is they are saying, that you have wealth, but you cannot interfere in the political matters. Fine. You have self-restraint. No.
Don't go beyond that.
Curb your desire. Fine. You cannot become ruler. Are you getting this thing? Are you following this thing now? That is why we are doing this thing. Okay. So there is no provision that you can go beyond this given, sphere. You cannot go beyond this thing. And for that, for ruling class, for guardian class, it is being said that you are not allowed to enjoy property. Some basic property, like maybe cycle, like maybe some kind of like very basic things you can enjoy. Even you cannot have some kind of private space for you, like home. No.
Family,
No home. You have to in common barracks.
Barracks and
Fine. Soldier barracks. You have to stay there.
Common partner.
If you are going to teach these things to the rulers, how they are going to treat? That is why Plato, almost got killed by teaching these kind of things to the rulers. You are asking the person to, I am ruling, I have every single thing with me, and you are asking me to leave this thing. It's very difficult. Understand this human psychology. You are asking Sard Pawar to step down in party system. That no, you should not do this thing now. You are 80 or 85-year-old. But the person doesn't want to, come down. Isn't it? This is something what we call your attachment to the power. Fine. So, no home for you. No Rashtrapati Bhavan. See, only one person enjoying this much big mansion. How many acres you have no idea? How many acres Rashtrapati Bhavan have? I think, in my opinion, maybe more than 100 acres. In Delhi, you are living in this much big area. More than 100 acres, for sure. They say that, I don't know, they say that everything is being produced there only. Fruits or whatever, it can be produced there. Only one person is living there. Rashtrapati. Okay, so see, no specific private property. You live in barracks. Because your entire attention should be on promoting common good. Okay, common good. You should not be generating wealth for yourself. No. And how can you say that you are having knowledge? If you have knowledge, real knowledge, then you will only think about common good. There is nothing called like self-interest, that this is what I want for myself. And this is really a true knowledge. At one point of your time, you'll understand this thing. This is the community feeling. This is the feeling of community, doing something for the community that will make your life fulfilled. Even if you become civil servant, if you think that, like most of the people, they are concerned about, see, I got this posting, I got posted there, this friend, he got very good district. He's like, they are being, consumed in these things only. He are earning this much of money, he's getting this much of bribe. They discuss about these things. It's the truth. They're not concerned about how we are serving our district, how we are maintaining law and order. No.
correct.
I have one friend. He is serving IPS. I got this information. One person who was handling a very big kind of scam, like that SP, he got very hefty amount of bribe. So the tone in which he was saying, it was showing some kind of envious feeling that person is earning this much. There was no element of abhorrence that why this person is doing this thing. No element, oh, he is earning this much at that posting, and I'm not able to make that money, isn't it? So the element of common good is totally absent because you are ignorant, you don't know. Fine, understand this thing as your individual level. Then only you can write, with the contemporary examples, you can write your answers very beautifully. So this thing. Then again, you will get some fixed amount from producing class. They will provide you. Like you can say some kind of salary or something like this. This will come from the producing class. In way of taxes, you can say, I'm not using these modern terms here, but yes, certain fixed quota would be given to these people, guardian class, and that will be financed by producing class. Because they are making these policies and implementing these policies, they are ensuring the safety and security of the state so that they can do their business. Isn't it? Understood this thing? So this was the thing. So now this is the property, because property is evil. It promotes these kind of narrow values which distort your vision to govern. That is why it is being done. And then the family. What is the time? 12:20. Should we continue with this family or? Huh?
Continue.
You are enjoying?
Yes.
So this idea of communism is family is very interesting because it is linked with women. Okay. 5,000 years ago, this person was thinking about that women should be given, some kind of equal rights. And so many feminists, they get inspiration from the Plato's ideas as well. Although there is debate that he was the first feminist, because whatever ideas he's proposing, he had this soft corner for the women. But he was not, you cannot be called a full-fledged feminist because he was just talking about guardian class. The women who belong to the producing class, they were not included in this scheme.
Okay.
Fine. Remember this thing. This is the only reason we cannot say that he was concerned about the status of the women in the society. Definitely he was concerned. He had a soft corner. But having soft corner do not make you, the full-fledged feminist. Yes, feminism can derive inspiration from his ideas because we are not talking about the contemporary times. We think right now, think at our individual level, in our home. If your clothes are dirty, you cannot say to your father, "Father, wash my clothes." You go to your mother, even if she is working. You do not have that kind of strength to say to your father, "Wash my clothes." But with so much of conviction, so much of this thing that, no, my mother has to do this thing. You, mummy, mera kapde nahi dhoye aapne. Isn't it? With that kind of tone. And 5,000 years ago, this person is saying these things. So he was of, now we are just talking about guardian class. We will not use producer class here because producers in producing class, they were allowed institution of marriage. Okay, they can have child and they can have family as well. But here he said that there is nothing such called like marriage as an institution. कि शादियां तो heaven में ही decide होती हैं. There is no such kind of idea. There is no such kind of this thing is there. Okay, these women, they are suffering because of this institution of marriage. He said that they are having secondary position in the society. He said this thing.
Yes.
So first concern was that this institution should be broken and they should be given equal rights. He said this thing. Equal rights. They should not have the responsibility of child rearing and taking care of the family. No. They can actively participate in the, law making, policy making and every single thing. He was saying this thing. Even there can be a philosopher queen. Understood? He was of this opinion.
Sir, producer class was allowed to marry. So could they marry in guardian class?
Yes, definitely. Producer class, you cannot become guardian class. But your children's.
No, sir, I am saying producer class can they marry in guardian class?
No. I will tell you that how that things go.
They are allowed
There is marriage provision just for producing class only. Okay. Once you are assigned that you are in the guardian class, this woman is from the guardian class. No, she cannot marry this thing.
marriage within producing class.
Yes.
ये तो शादी कर ही नहीं सकता है.
And there are certain kind of, they had this idea of void marriages also, marriages which are illegal marriages. If you have children born out of illegal marriages, you cannot do this thing. If they find out that, because every single thing is regulated, they know that who got pregnant. Fine. They have entire register, they maintain that who got pregnant. Okay, this lady got pregnant. We are going to follow this thing. Because you are assigned. And if they find out that this lady got pregnant, because who is taking decision that who is going to get married? It is philosopher king. He is the person, he is deciding authority. That who is going to get married? Philosopher king is deciding this. PK is deciding this. Fine. If you are, if you got pregnant and it is not sanctioned by PK, so your child will be aborted. Okay. He is giving such kind of powers to philosopher king. And there is also age system also. For men, 25 to 50 years, or for women, 20 to 40 years. This is the marriage age he proposed. And no 19 to 18 years, and no even 41 to 51 years. If you get married in these kind of ages, again, that marriage is illegal.
Okay.
So what about sex in your guardian class?
Huh?
Philosopher king and soldier class में sex की provision क्या रहेगा सर?
Philosopher class or
Philosopher class में family का concept नहीं.
means you are talking about guardian class.
Guardian class. And what about sex?
Ratio.
See, he was very concerned about. Yes, very good question. For sexual relationship, there is no provision of marriage. Okay. And sexual relationship will be done just only for one purpose. Not for pleasure. Okay. For procreation and reproduction. Fine. Understood this thing? So don't think that we will be having girlfriends and boyfriends there in the Plato society. No. You might have heard one novel, 1984, George Orwell. Huh? Have you heard this thing? Read this novel, very good. It's a wonderful classic novel of George Orwell. I told you this thing. This person was born in Motihari, Bihar. His father was Indian civil servant in British government. Okay. In 1992 or something, he bought, and he wrote this around like 1921, 22. Like in these years, he wrote this novel.
So was there no concept of common partner?
Common partners?
In guardian class.
Philosopher king will decide this thing. Okay, he will decide this thing. You can have this thing because those marriages or union were temporary unions. Fine, there is no some kind of specific marriages that this marriage happened. Fine.
I have heard that common partner.
Common partner can happen now because there is nothing called monogamous marriage. What is monogamous marriage? That this is the only person you are being, you are being attached. No. Maybe this year you gave birth to this child. Next time you are sleeping with some other person.
Okay.
Fine. Because there is no marriage. Understand this thing.
So, like you said, marriage is not for,
We are saying we are saying procreation, just to produce.
Sir, sexual relationship was just to produce production.
In guardian class, na?
In guardian class,
Hmm.
automatically the children of the guardian class will come now.
Where?
Children of the guardian class creates and something else like that.
What?
Suppose that I am from guardian class. I will do sexual relations. I will have some relations. I can't do marriage. But my child will come. And they
child
will,
I will tell you. I have answer for this also. So once the child is here in this world, okay, because philosopher king is watching every single thing. That is why I am saying to you, you read that novel. In that novel, the state is watching every single activity to you. The person is writing in 1920s this novel, and he says this kind of screen is there. In every single home, there is one screen there. He did not say, because he's writing in 19, there was no television, I think, in those times. He's writing, there is something, some instrument is there, and he's watching every single activity you are doing. And even they are reading your mind. The state is reading your mind. That what kind of thoughts you are having. You cannot have thoughts of love, marriage, sex. They are reading your mind. It's a wonderful, thought-provoking novel. It's like omni-relevant. Now also it is relevant. State is doing, it is snooping you, it is reading your emails, it is reading your communication. It is happening. Your phones are being hacked. And see, this happened. Opposition leaders and these reporters, their phones are being snooped. Okay. So they are trying to see what is your thought process? What are you trying to overthrow the state? We are reading you. We are seeing what you are thinking. So this was happening. So you are saying, once the child is there, the moment your child is born, it will be taken into a nursery. Okay, you don't know who is your child.
So you will not have information about child.
No, only PK is knowing this thing. Fine. He would be knowing that who is the son of whom. And see, now these are the children. Okay. These children will treat every single guardian class their father and mothers, and they will treat them their children. That is the idea, to promote common good. Understood? So this was his idea. Tomorrow we'll dictate the notes for this. Okay? Chalo. Any questions so far?
Plato used the word only male.
Male for what?
Male for in every
Men.
theory.
So we also writing, whatever we are writing, we write na. This is he. We will only write this na. That's language, that's thing. But he was of the view that providing equal opportunities to men and women. I told you na, even women can become philosopher queen. So it's given there. It's just an idea. Okay, how you are following it? He was idealist. That's why we are saying na. His ideas were idealist, and Plato criticized him for this only. Aristotle.
Was it not a dictatorship? Where everything is
Yes, you can say this thing, but he is just proposing this thing. He was being accused also. We will discuss the criticism also. Philosopher King criticism. Why he was saying this. Fine. It is being said that.
Not possible in a democratic country.
Yeah, so they are saying this thing. Now you are regulating every single thing. You are regulating with whom you want to sleep, with what kind of thoughts you are having. Every single thing is, regulated.
So thoughts can also be changed after a point of time. Like
Yes.
I am in guardian class.
That is why he is saying. Then he brought one idea of soul, or what we can say, a noble lie. He created that. He created that noble lie because he had this apprehension, because the moment they will become, philosopher king or whatever things assigned to them, if they get wealth, surely that self-restraint will become weak at some point of time. So he created a noble lie, that it is the order of God. The God has given you these kind of values, and you have to follow this thing. This is the order of God. That is no noble lie. You are saying this thing. And here he is losing the entire essence of his debate, that knowledge is superior, because you are creating knowledge on the basis of a lie.
Like,
So this is philosophical debates. Fine. Okay. Thank you so much.